Happy Wednesday. As always, Steve here to discuss the golf tournament this week at the RBC Canada. As always, we'll start with a quick recap of last week, and it's a glorious recap indeed. Ended up hitting the winner with Viktor Hovland, 20-1, back-to-back weeks in overtime, picking the winner. Granted, last week was Grillo at a much smaller price live. So, hitting Hovland 20-1, as a sports bettor, whenever you can turn, $400 into 8 grand, it makes your week, to say the least. So, yeah, great feeling there. And, last week in the preview video, I said I really felt strongly about those three outrights and thought our first, pre-tourney outright winner of the year was coming. So really feeling good about the process. Now that I don't have basketball to handicap every single day, with the NBA playoffs, only one game every 3 days, it's given me a lot more mental time to sort of focus on golf and really put a lot of attention into it. And, so far it's been paying off really well. So we'll quick go through it. So, um, you know, unfortunately, Cantlay, he killed what could have been a monster tournament. He was T9 heading into Sunday, completely shit the bed, unfortunately. Couldn't make a putt. So the best bet, loser there. So he did drop about 4 units on the derivatives, but then swept the matchups. So, overall, a tournament profit of 6 units, 46% ROI. Obviously, if you can do that every tournament, you'll be living in a mansion on your own island after a year. So, yeah, it's been awesome. Like I said, the model has definitely been refined to the point where, I'm very confident with it moving forward. So we'll move over into the model for the RBC Canadian this week. I guess I'll quickly touch on, the golf drama that unfolded. For me, I'm not a political guy, so I'm not going to get into the morals of it. This channel is about betting on golf. So as far as golf betting, I think it's just going to be beneficial. It's going to really bring back, hopefully, the field, that we had last year before everyone defected to the live. So I think this week and maybe next week, a little bit less, but still, probably some distractions. So I'm not going heavy this week. I really never do bet heavily tournaments the week before a major. Just because a lot of the top guys are using it as as a warm-up tournament, probably not trying to go balls out to win, because obviously, the majors are what really counts. So, I was debating not even betting this tournament after the drama, but after running the model, there's a lot of value, especially on some underdogs, or guys who are priced further down the board, I should say. Because I think a lot of the top guys like Rory, he's going to be distracted most likely, or he's just going to go nuclear. One or the other, but nothing about his play as of late makes me think that he can go berserk here. Just because he was betrayed, by the PGA leadership to go balls out and destroy this field. He is the back-to-back winner, but this year it's being played on a new course, and it doesn't really fit his style. His greatest asset now, considering that his putting and wedges are honestly nothing short of atrocious. This isn't a long course that he can overpower with his driver. So you can see Rory's like number 20 in the model, mainly because of his fairways gained and strokes gained putting have been abysmal lately. So I'm completely out on Rory. I'm not going to go full fade like I've seen a lot of guys are, only because he's such a wild card that I would rather just keep him off my card entirely. So we'll look at the top of the board, and no surprise, Hatton, he's number one overall. So we'll quick touch on the course and the different stat categories that I've identified to be predictive this week. So, like I said, it's not a very long course. It's a little bit over 7,200 yards, par 72. So the guys who don't have great distance off the tee aren't going to be at a massive disadvantage at all this week. The fairways are tree lined and there's penal rough, so fairways gained, good drives gained. Keeping the ball in play off the tee. It's going to be very important. It's going to end up being a birdie fest. Typically these tournaments are won around minus 20, so we're looking for guys who can score, avoid bogeys, and also score on the par fives. And there's a bunch of par fours, so there's quite a bit of focus put on strokes gained par fours, and then most of these are between 400 to 450 yards. And then a lot of the approach shots are going to be wedges, so proximity to the hole. 100 to 125 is another strokes gained derivative stat that we're focusing on. And then obviously putting, we saw it last week. Denny McCarthy led the field in putting, and he was right there at the end up against Hovland. Hovland was number two, and conversely, Scotty led the field strokes gained tee to green by a wide margin, but he was dead last in putting, and it cost him. If Scotty was even poor, putting, he would have won the tournament running away. But his putting was really terrible, and came up one stroke short of the playoff. Luckily for us, with the ticket on Hovland. So yeah, this week I am going to be looking at a few of the top guys, and then I'm going to be looking at some more of the long shots because to me, we haven't had like a bomb guy of 200 to 1, 150 to 1 win in a long time. It's been very top heavy as far as the outrights have been concerned in golf, really dating back to the past year and a half. But I think this week, we could have a guy come out of nowhere, given all of the drama that's going on, so like a kind of a lesser guy who doesn't really give a shit and isn't distracted. I could see someone like that win. So there's a guy who I have circled. So I guess we can get right into the outrights. So yeah, this week got Hatton at the top. Hatton's due for a win. And I don't love the fact that this is right before the major. For his sake, but I think given the strength of this field, he's due for a win, and the fact that I'm only risking half units this week, there's definitely some wiggle room to work in some of the top of the odds board. So Hatton, Rose, Lowry, and Fleetwood, leaving out Rory, and a few of the guys at the top. Those are kind of the top four guys, and I think most likely one of these four win. As you can see in the model, these guys. Hatton, Rose, and Fleetwood are 1, 2, and 3. They're pretty much in the top 10 for all the predictive categories. Connors is right there behind, but the thing is, for whatever reason, in this Canadian Open, the Canadian guys always put a ton of pressure on themselves, and they typically end up choking. So, not interested in any Canadians this week, but I couldn't talk anyone out of Connors. He grades out very well. So those are the outrights, and then as far as the derivatives, we're looking at some guys who popped in the model who are more of long shots. So we'll pull up the card here. So outrights, those guys who we listed. So risking a total of 0.97 units on the outrights this week. Top 20s, we're rolling with Rose, minus 105. He is my best bet of the week. I think Rose has a great chance to get his second win of the season this week. He finished well here last year, finished top 5. And, as you can see, he grades out just about I mean, as well as you would like. Second in strokes gained approach, eighth in birdies or better gained, fifth in bogey avoidance. Third in strokes gained par four, and his putting is always what holds him back. But he's 46th in the field, so he's not. It's not like he's been an elite putter, but it's not like he's been to the level of like Rory or Scotty. So that's my best bet of the week. So we are going to go 3 units there, and everything else is going to be a half unit. So we're going for some bombs because this is a tournament, like I said, where I am looking for some value this week. Especially the fact that I'm going half units, so I'm looking to maximize the value this week on some long shots. So as you can see here, Ben Martin, a guy who not many have heard of, but he's very under the radar, been playing extremely well. He has three top tens in his last 6 events, only one missed cut. And, as you can see, he's second in the field in birdies or better gained. And, in a birdie fest, that's going to be a very important statistic. And, as far as just hitting fairways, he's top 10 in both fairways gained and good drives gained, and he's top 20 in strokes gained approach. So, he's sitting there at plus 400, top 20, plus 130, top 40. So I'm double dipping on Ben Martin this week, and I was very close to even taking an outright ticket on him. I think he has a great chance to notch another top 10. I'm not going to be that greedy. I mean, you can get him plus 750, top 10, but plus 400, top 20. He grades out pretty much as well as anyone, outside of those top four guys. So Ben Martin is one of my biggest sleepers of the week, and the other guy, Chez Reavie. This course is very similar to TPC River Highlands, where he's actually won on the PGA Tour. He's number one in strokes gained putting. And then he grades out very well for all the other statistics. Good enough to be number 10 aggregate. So Reavie, this course is perfect for him. And, I'm taking a shot on him at 200 to 1 on the outrights as well. My camera died. We're back. And then, so Chez Reavie, plus 460, top 20 is, my top long shot of the week. And also taking him top 40, plus 170 on FanDuel. And then the last guy who we're looking at is Mark Hubbard, top 40, plus 105 on FanDuel. Rates out at number 14 in the model. He's actually number one in strokes gained approach. Last week at the Memorial, he was actually in the top 10 for quite a bit on Sunday before kind of falling apart, which I was happy to see because that allowed Hovland to finish in the top 20 with no dead heat. But Hubbard, he's been playing very well. And, this is another course that fits him well. And, asking him to just finish in the top 40 in this field really isn't asking much. So, that's the card for this week. I'm not going crazy. Really only risking a total of, I guess, like 1.5 units. Yeah, it's like 4 units. So, not a big risk week. Unit wise, but definitely enough to keep our attention. And I think just a matter of time before Hatton gets a win, and Rose has been right there. So as long as Rose shows up and finishes in the top 20, which I definitely expect, I feel like he's going to use this as just a tournament to really get him in form for next week. This has potential to be another great tournament, and we can certainly hit another outright. I think Fleetwood's another guy who he's yet to win on the PGA Tour, but he ended up skipping the the players meeting, and he said, I'm just going to practice golf. Like he's very nonchalant. He's a guy who I don't think is going to be, shook at all by any of this drama going on. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens, see how distracted these guys are. But like I said, I really don't see it being an issue for more of these bottom tier guys, the Reeves, the Ben Martins. Like, I think it's going to be business as usual for these guys. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But, definitely looking forward to this tournament. Let's stay hot. Let's get another winning tournament. And fingers crossed, another outright win. Best of luck, and we'll be back next week for the U.S. Open.